Yo, I gotta go on a little rant real quick. I was just thinking about Trump and Biden being elective, our two options for president in 2024 are still Biden and Trump. Are you kidding me? I got a message, and to anybody who feels like me, who feels like neither of these people are competent and qualified to be presidents, and yet somehow our electoral system finds them to be the default nominees in this election again. How has nobody stepped up to the plate in any form of in any level of the Congress to give us options better than these two? Why are these two our most optimal candidates for presidency in 2024? Really? Because looking back on history, both of these leaders have shown incompetence in their leadership duties very quickly within their presidency. Trump cost the lives of millions of Americans mishandling the coronavirus spread epidemic at the start of 2020, which began in like early 2019. They had in October of like 2019, they had data and news coming in from Wuhan about it, and this came out later in like 2022 in like interviews. 2023 this came out. I saw this in interviews. Like they had knowledge and understanding of the spreading like the virus like 2 or 3 months before it became epidemic levels, and they spent their time in bullshit on political matters and pushing agendas like the tax cuts rather than stomping out the potential virus that invaded the country and cost the lives of hundreds of thousands. And Trump is never someone who, what it means to be president is like to be the king of your country, noblesse oblige. You need to have the priority of your citizens and your borders and your country at the most center of your duties. For him to have mishandled the coronavirus so poorly is a disqualification from being a leader of a country like this with military power to destroy the world. Like, what are we doing? Are you serious? This guy is an egotistical madman. He is currently being tried in court for trying to overtake the government because he lost the last election, and we're giving him another shot at it. What is this country? It's unbelievable. And like, so Trump is like an insane sociopath that is like the figurehead of the USA. Like, what a joke. Like, what a joke it is to say you're American in 2024 and even 23, like even ever since 2021 really. Like, we've been the we Trump has been the bigoted like symbolism throughout the world, and is like made me not want to be an American for sure. Well, the opinions of the foreigners is blatant through like the anime and manga I consume is just blatant like detestment and like disrespect for America, and especially Trump as the figurehead of the bigotry that America puts out. Oh man, it's crazy, and it's crazy because if Trump becomes president, like there is at least a 75% chance that he instigates international war with another country, and if we don't have enough troops right now, guess what? Then we need more troops, guys. Protect the country. Trump started a war. Young men and women, get your asses out there. Get trained. Go to fight. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Fucking ruin the lives of all these developing kids. Everybody's trying to focus on intellectual work in the service industry that we depend on for our country to run. He's gonna do some insane shit. It's so scary. I'm more scared for Trump than I am for Biden. Biden is someone who is in clear declining health. Mental facilities are going to be going out the window pretty quickly at this point. And I mean, he's been, even when things are going relatively well, like post pandemic era, and like we're recovering system, like the country, like all the media is just disrespectful and not appreciative of whatever's been given, and just hating on what's been there. And I don't follow enough to know like the to weigh each like action pros and cons throughout this entire presidency. But like stability is important for me, and like Biden is stable, so Biden is the clear choice between Trump and them. But he's also like failing speech. Like he's like the Mitch McConnell, but the president. Like old these old people who can't even give like proper speeches and interactions. Like behind the scenes, it's much worse. Like we can't trust these people to hold executive positions in the country. We need somebody who doesn't give a fuck about the bullshit ideals and like from the Republicans, the evangelicalist, like Christian ideology morphed with the conservative, big tough USA country folk mixed with the like gun harboring NSA fanatics, like war gunning people, like that whole faction of republicanism, in which, to me, is more of what republicanism is than the conservative narrative, is disgusting. It is a vile virus that is going to destroy this country. And on the other side, like, what is the worst? Like the Supreme Court fucking got rid of abortion in the country. Like, how can that be acceptable? How can there not be a popular vote against whether the Supreme Court should be allowed to do that? Because holy fuck, that is unjust. Supreme Court, fuck, and the conservative Supreme Court at that is just disgusting. I don't respect the Supreme Court whatsoever. I would fight to the death over some Supreme Court mandate that fucked with me. And then Republicans, like, or Democrats, like protesting certain matters can be weird. Um, I think all trans rights and LGBTQ initiatives are positive for the country. The expression of choice and self is always going to be predominant to the most degree, to like allow people to coexist, because America is a fucking mashing pot of so many different cultures that if you don't allow the system to tolerate all the different cultures, it's going to lead to culture wars, and it's going to be fucking ugly. Civil war is not going to be pretty. So we need the liberal, like, understanding of modern society and the ability to adapt the laws quickly, rather than the conservative constitutional, the forefathers had an idea of what America should be, and we need to enact the righteous vision of our forefathers. Like, so Democrats definitely better. I just really wish I didn't have to vote for either of these guys. I wish I could just see someone with a backbone, someone with the charisma to garner attention and not be focused on lobbying and but being propped up by the Democrat or Republican mobs of senators and congressmen and fucking people like Tim. Like, oh my god, the Senate hearings and the committee meetings where they just scream and stuff. Like, these people are unhinged. These people are not okay. And it's all agenda driven. Like each reason to poke holes at the subject of whoever company CEO is in there, or whatever trials going on, or whatever. It's all so agenda based that it's so like I can't put myself in any of their positions in the way they speak and talk, because it's either obviously appreciative, like backing, and then like giving them chances to speak to promote the cause as a helper, or usually like the Republicans just go like personal attacks, like dragging up their history and destroying their credibility in court, and not even addressing like usual matters that actually pertain to the subject. Like, that's true. That's typical. Hate to see that. Pretty disgusting behavior usually. And everybody gets too big for their britches, I guess, when they get their seat to talk, and they're just all like so old and like unattached to modern day. Like, I mean, younger generation doesn't really define too much of the country, but like the college campus, like culture and infrastructure and the way it protests and expresses young idealism against like higher Congress and corporate values and stuff is basically young expression, as well as like Twitter and Reddit. But when things like social media are like the most pressing concerns in the country, you really can't have like 60 year olds and plus handling the legislation for such things. They just don't have the empathy or the understanding to make informed decisions, and most of them are too big-headed to like let more informed people make their decisions for them. So it's a shit show. I just boiled with this like for 5 minutes in my head, like going over this in my head, and Yeah, throw my hat in the bucket, get me up there. If it really could be, if I really could get a shot and try to express some, at least my opinion, and then find the people who resonate with my opinion will corroborate that, and then everybody will give their shitheaded opinions to take me down. And it's not a personal thing, but my ideology will of course have its flaws, and people will want to defend a system that more favors them, right? It's always going to be fighting for the system that best favors you. So everybody will pick their sides. But like, if I could get the chance to be on that third ballot and give like, and there's no like coordinated way, like I don't even get emails or personal emails sent to me about like my taxing state and like when to vote and like where I should be going to vote. Like they don't even like, there's no connection between the high level government and like me at a 28-year-old and everybody younger than me. There is no connection to even get them involved in the voting process. And like, is it intentional? Is there a deliberate lack of moving voting means to like like online based mediums that can be securely handled and use like social security, like, you know, the thing that uniquely identifies each citizen? Yeah, you can use a system or voting based system using social security verification and other things that like you do for your, when you do a bank app or when you do a crypto app and they ask for your driver's license, your ID, your social security number, like all of that unique identification could be used the same way to do the voting and get everybody involved in the voting, get it prevented from cheating and mishandling. Because I am willing to bet my bottom dollar, like Trump got exposed for 2020 election fraud, but whatever, you don't see everything. There's no way that there isn't manipulation behind the scenes to some degree. Probably not enough to like completely buy out an election, but there is going to be mishandling and like political manipulation in these processes. And I hope we have enough checks and balances to that the bad actors can actually get out and be allowed to have a democratic process as USA. But who fucking knows? Honestly, who fucking knows? And if the most of the country doesn't believe in the president, does it even fucking matter? Because then like everybody's gonna be entitled to live the way they want to live, right? So land of the free has its pros and cons, right? Freedom comes with the ability to express your thoughts and opinions and gather in group and do that. And when you have two opposing sides in a big country like this, it's going to be some fights, a lot of fights, and it's going to boil. We've been boiling for quite a while. So it's crazy. I'm full screen, so there's going to be no copyright bullshit or anything. I have no audio. So it's just me making this video, this recording. I will put it up on YouTube, and I'm talking really fast because I'm excited. But this is my rant. Yeah, I like to make my rants and make them a video at least, so I can have an accountant of some of my thoughts. But like, I don't believe in any of the political system of this country. I actually just completely hands off, live my life in a bubble. Like I would be the guy in the USA who was just like in the middle of nowhere living on a ranch, who has a mansion and there's all the amenities I need to live happily, but like nobody around, and like just all my area, or even like just like a dome around me, and just like everybody has to like get in like I would love to be like a super rich person who can build their own like unique island base, or in the middle of like a big forest, their own like resort base with like top of the line security, top of the line monitoring system, top of the like entertainment features, and just be wired in to the world, do the like online stuff, and then have all those amenities, and not have to risk like being around harmful people as much. Like that would be the ideal life for me. So that's my perspective and all the political nonsense and all the ongoings of the world internationally and internally of the country. I don't think I'm just a guy who lives in a room and doesn't leave my room all day. I'm not going to be like, if this video could somehow reach people and somehow people are like, this guy's ideas make sense, or like, you know, like maybe we do, like we need a push. Like, even if you don't agree with anything I said, you have to like agree that you have to see that there've been problems. Like, the crazy Republican Democrat fights are getting worse. Government shutdowns are being used as bargain tools to push political matters, which is crazy because it could affect the lives of hundreds of thousands of USA members if it goes in. We're fault like our debt is in like red line critical, and when you stop being able to pay stuff, your service social security out to people, and all the people rely on that. Like it only takes two or three pushes of a very fundamental level to like really bring out anarchy. Like when people feel like their lives are threatened and like the system's not going to be there to help them, like that's when you lose. That's when the anarchy breaks out, and like this bullshit at the top is stemming into a lot of like the small and like invisible people throughout the world are just like dying silently, and like the country continues to run on the scraps of their corpses as the people who have like the 1% own like 80% of the, like 60% of the wealth in the country, you know. Like the system is not meant to favor the little guys ever. The system is propagated for the top to maintain a status quo of winning and losing, but manageable sustainability. Like when you watch all your war movies and your special ops guys going for a mission to protect America, and turns out they got on somebody's bad side, so they got sent in on a dupe a mission to be wiped out by hostile forces in a cover-up mission, and people eat that up as like movie content, as like, huh, wow, like holy crap, like imagine if that happened, like wow, and like how many times has that happened in reality? How many times? How many of them could we ever? What percent could we ever even hope to uncover 10 years later after sacrifices have been made? Like today, I watched a video, hour-long video on the disappearance of Malaysian Flight 307 10 years ago, and how that orchestrated pilot basically became a terrorist and murdered the passengers and dove the plane and destroyed evidence. Which, I mean, based on what seemed to be factual evidence a given, they concluded it was the pilot, which means if he tried to make it seem like a terrorist bombing or something and not implicate his family members and friends, probably failed at that anyway. So you might as well have not as been a cunt and killed 250 people, and might as well just offed yourself in the backyard or something, dude. Like honestly, anybody who wants to kill themselves by killing other people to make a statement or some public billboard like news article is not worthy of consideration. Anyway, that's off topic. Um, Apparently, Biden won New Hampshire, so the election's starting. It is only February. We're just entering tax season, so it's primaries are in November, I guess. Things are happening in states, and maybe I'll see a news article that gives me a direction on when to be voting and where to go. And I guess you're just registered to go to one place, because every time I've had to vote, I've just been told by my parents to go to one place. So I guess that's how the system works. Not too sure. I don't really interact with the system because at the end of the day, the system is not there to help me. If I knew more about it, I could weaponize it to not be used against me, which I will probably have to do through like YouTube content and like short form, like like in a specified manner, to not have to spend 70 hours going through different legal content and then having to pick and choose what is useful and not. So hopefully I can find a more targeted way to understand the legal, like speeding, driving stuff, understanding what you should say. Like there's a YouTube video like what you should say when you get pulled over by a cop, and like the cop's not on your side. That's where you have to start your thinking from. The cop's not on your side. The cop's there to penalize you for doing something wrong. But if you say the right things and give leeway, at least you can not get in trouble. But if you just like try to be a good boy and admit your crimes and get like brownie points for not for telling the truth, like you're living in a delusional world where you think the system is like your friend to help you out and be big brother, when really it's a collar meant to keep everybody in line, because that's what society is. Bye. I'll leave you with that.